Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. Getting close to the end of the week already. Man, time flies. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Got a ton of stuff again for you today. You don't want to miss even a second. Not one single second. We already lost half a second because Corby was half a second late.
I'm so glad you pointed that out.
On the show open. Yeah. We'll never get that back, Corby. Thanks.
Seriously.
Thanks. I mean, in a jam-packed show, we miss half a second.
And we have to address it because
we have to. Because you have to know why you're missing that half second of entertainment.
Correct.
And it's not my fault. It's not Keith's fault. It's because of Corby.
Probably my fault somewhere in there.
Yeah, maybe.
It's Nate's fault, actually.
Okay. First, let me tell you, though, about Real Estate Agents I Trust. This is an organization with just great realtors in it across the country. If you're looking for one, you don't know who to go with, should you go with your second cousin once removed? No. Who dabbles in the business and, has a pretty good record of selling a house or two in the last 5 or 6 years.
So you've heard.
Yeah. When they're not selling Amway products or whatever. You don't want to do that. You want to go with somebody with a lot of experience, somebody committed to their craft. And that's Real Estate Agents I Trust. These are agents who have great track records, who know the market, who go around with all kinds of clients and know what they want so that when you're selling your home, they can advise you on the best things to do and what not to do when you're selling your home. The changes to make to your house, or maybe you just leave it alone and sell as is. These are the realtors who will know all of that. And it's really a stressful process trying to sell your home. And especially if you're selling and buying and maybe relocating, you need somebody to help you through that process. Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
So the Democrats seem a bit desperate right now. And they're showing some wear and tear.
Yeah.
It's great. Nancy Pelosi yesterday had this to say about Republicans.
To close by saying that you've heard me say again and again that the Republicans seem to be having a limbo contest with themselves to see how low they can go.
Oh, my gosh.
They seem to have reached rock bottom with their statement that what happened on January 6th was normal political discourse. Legitimate.
Who said that?
Legitimate political discourse. I've also said that Republican Party, good country needs a strong Republican Party. They've made great contributions to our country. I say this to Republicans all the time. Take back your party from this cult.
Oh, my gosh.
Take back your party. America needs a strong Republican Party and a strong Democratic Party.
Yeah, but we don't have that, that's for sure.
And it's disturbing to see
cult.
That the Republican leader of the House actually literally refused to condemn that resolution of legitimate political discourse. He literally ran away from the press when he was asked about his position. The Republicans can run, but they cannot hide from what happened on January 6th to call that legitimate political discourse.
January 6th.
140 law enforcement officers were wounded. Some people died. It was an assault on our
people
Capitol,
died.
our Congress.
Yeah.
The hand of your security.
All right.
Assault on her democracy.
But they can't hide. Yeah. With that, I'm pleased to take any questions you may have.
All right, we got to repeat that.
That's powerful. They can run, but they can't hide. And to call it a cult, when you look across the aisle, you see what's going on with Democrats. Are you kidding me? Wow, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. That's astounding. Of course, she's out of it, too. I think she's almost as out of it as Joe Biden is. Not quite, maybe.
Boy.
But she's on that road.
I'd love to see those two take a Wonderlic test right about now.
I would love that.
Let's make that happen.
Love that.
Corby's going to make it happen.
Should be mandatory. If you're going to run for office and you're going to try to govern the country at this age, let's make sure that you're all there. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. So, you got to take the test. Sorry.
Wow. Get your cult under control. You
Ugh.
guys are legislating via cult right now.
And she's so concerned about the Republican Party being a strong party. Sure.
Yeah. The Republican Party's done great contributions to our country. Yeah. Rescuing the slaves from Democrats.
Yes.
That's what they did.
Right. Mm-hmm. Seeing to it that the Civil Rights Act actually was passed against all of the protestations of the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Democrats filibustering. Remember that? That's their big thing now.
just amazing. Absolutely amazing. 888-933-93. Are you familiar with, I think we talked about her a little bit yesterday or the day before, Dr. Leana Wen, CNN's resident Chinese doctor. Well, Chinese-American, I think, right?
She's from China. I know that.
Is she actually from? She was born in China?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've looked this up before. Because we've played clips of her over the last couple of years. They're just nauseating. And I almost... Do we really want to do this, do you think, today?
Well...
Go down memory lane with her? Because, she was born in Shanghai itself.
No.
There you go.
So here she is in March of last year.
Okay.
Just to show, her feelings over time. Here she is, March of 2021.
My main concern is that we're not going to reach herd immunity because of vaccine hesitancy. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe who desperately want the vaccine right now. And they're thinking, it's just a small percentage of people who are actually anti-vaxxers. And that's true. There is the anti-science, anti-vaxxer contingent.
Anti-science. Remember that.
Shut up.
Millions of people who, for whatever reason, have concerns about the vaccine, who just don't know what's in it for them. And we need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic life. And the window to do that is really narrowing. I mean, you were mentioning, Chris, about how all these states are reopening. They're reopening at 100%. And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have, because otherwise people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. And I fear a situation of coming into the fall where we never reach herd immunity, and then we get hit by the next surge of COVID-19 in the fall. Something that we could have prevented if we just got people vaccinated.
We just got them vaxxed. We could have prevented what happened, in the fall.
Right. You just pin them down and force it on everybody. That's all you do is you send the military out door to door. And if somebody hasn't been vaccinated and they don't want to be still, you just hold them down. You send the military, a bunch of Marines to their house. Hold them down and vaccinate them. That's all.
I mean, that seems feasible.
Then they can participate in freedom.
Yeah.
Okay?
Otherwise, they're just going to go out and exercise their freedom anyway. We can't have that.
We can't have that.
But it's going to be important as we go down this memory lane to see this Democrat plan in action, where she's saying, the Biden administration's got to be more bold. Well, they got more bold, and obviously...
Yeah.
That backfired in a big way.
So that was March. Here's May of 2021.
A lot of people are thinking kind of selfishly, thinking what's in it for me. And they're not willing to wait until this elusive herd immunity. If we can tell those individuals who otherwise would not get vaccinated, if we say to them, the moment of freedom for you is when you get vaccinated, when you reach the 2-week mark. These are people who otherwise might not be vaccinated. So let's give them that incentive.
Give them an incentive, yeah.
All right.
Straight from Shanghai, that message.
Keep your constitutional rights if you take this unknown vaccine that we just came up with and won't tell you what's in it. Yeah, that's all. Just to keep your constitutional rights. You want those, don't you? Okay, well then do what you're told. Then in August, she had this to say.
So we really need to do something different. In the past, we know that vaccine mandates are effective, and I think we really need to be reframing how we think about them. We should be thinking about this as we do drunk driving. You have a right if you want to be intoxicated in your home or in some other setting, at a bar, let's say.
Right.
But you do not have the right to be intoxicated and then get behind the wheel of a car in a way that you could potentially endanger other people. And so I think that the vaccine mandate concept is going to be increasingly important because, for example, I have 2 unvaccinated young kids. I don't know that someone has the freedom, so to speak, to transmit COVID-19 to my unvaccinated kids.
Yep.
Man.
Isn't she fun?
Yeah, she's fun.
She's fun.
She's
fun. There's one more, but we've been joined by a guest in studio.
Do you know who she's with?
Who, Chen?
Yeah.
No.
World Economic Forum.
Oh, WF strikes again.
No wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah.
So, part of the Build Back Better situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's what all of this is about.
Yeah.
All of it is about that.
Did you write a book about that? Or
I
something?
did write a
you
book
have
about that.
Something to say about
Wait,
it?
Yeah.
Are you an author? Oh, an author has joined us in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 23 times best-selling author.
23 books?
It's crazy, isn't it?
23rd? Oh,
Yeah.
So this is the 23rd book?
Might be the 24th. I don't know.
So one of those times.
One of those times.
You didn't make the best-selling list?
No, the first. Well, I
pathetic.
actually
That is
did.
pathetic.
Real America.
I actually
But the
did.
New York Times wouldn't admit it. Are they doing that this time?
Yeah.
Aren't they? I think I read
Yeah,
something where
we were number
you were
one.
number one everywhere except the New York Times.
We were number 12.
12. Well, there's more that goes into it
Yeah.
than actual sales.
Oh, yeah, right.
When you're talking about best selling.
Best selling. Yeah. They said
That's-
they had their own, calculation.
Their own metrics.
And their own metrics. And we know that. But I've never seen anything like this.
That's really amazing.
We were 30,000 more than the second best-selling book, which they put at number 13 because it was RFK Jr.'s book.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
God.
And
Wow.
we were 45,000 more sales than the book they had at number one. And then what's really crazy is the next week we had no copies to sell. None. Okay. We only lost one place. We couldn't sell anything.
Oh,
and yet we were
wow.
13th on the New York Times list. It was like, what? What are you doing?
so bizarre.
Crazy.
I mean, they are so agenda driven. They are so
They're all blind.
ideologically
They're all
driven.
blind. All blind.
I mean, the paper of record, it's really despicable. But tell us about the book. What is going on with the Great Reset?
That almost sounded sincere, like you don't know.
No, I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
This book, Pat, is. I'm traveling next week because I'm meeting with legislators, Senate and House members, and governors next week. There are now 20 states that are starting to put anti-ESG legislation in because of this book. It is, once you understand the Great Reset.
ESG for the uninitiated stands for.
It's a social credit score. It
Yeah,
is for environment, social justice, and governance. So
Jeez.
it is a system that.
And it's in place right now.
Oh yeah,
Right? So-
if you have a any kind of 401k where you're investing in an index or anything else, you probably will go to your website, especially if you're JP Morgan Chase, and you will find your ESG score. You have one. And that's critical to understand. So ESG is this system where the banks can't loan you any money if you're a risk to them. So the blaze will be a risk to banks. We won't be able to get any loans for anything.
Because you have a really bad ESG score.
Correct. Including revolving credit, which most companies have every single month. It's revolving. You use it for your payroll, and then as the next month comes in, you pay that off, and then they give you the money just because of receipts, collectibles. So you won't be able to get a revolving payroll loan. You won't be able to go buy a house. You won't be able to buy a car. You won't be able to get a loan for anything because one of those three categories, you're risky. You're not green enough. Okay? Your house that you want to buy is not green enough. You don't agree with social justice. You are outspoken. This is for the very first time. They will not use your credit score.
Wow.
They will use your social justice score. They actually will now scan your Facebook page and your social media, depending on who you follow. This is the Chinese model.
Yep.
This is the Chinese model. And it's already in. It's already done. You have to get away from the big banks, put your money into a local bank, one that has no connections except in your local town, or a credit union. You've got to get out of Vanguard and all of these index things. Go to your HR director. Warning, if you work for a woke company.
Coke.
Any of them.
Disney.
Any of them.
Yeah.
iHeart.
Yeah.
All companies. iHeart. All companies
That's not
are
good.
no. All companies. I'm in the middle of a contract negotiation.
Wow.
I've had this conversation with them. I've been in this company since 1989.
I know.
You have been in and out since that time.
Yep.
I know them quite well. And I've said to them, we can call off all contract negotiations. What does this mean to you? And they're like, well, we have certain things we have to do, blah, blah, blah. That, okay, all right. But it will never affect me on the air. And most people are going to be working for ESG companies. So you're not going to be able to avoid it. You're just not. But the key here is get your money out of that system. They are using your money.
Jeez.
Vanguard, BlackRock, Stone, any of these indexes that you're in, any of them. They're using your money to destroy capitalism. And it's really critical that you pull your money away from them. It's the only way to stop them. The only way to stop it is to get your money out and also to send a message from the states. Again, we have 20 states right now that are saying we're pulling all of our teachers' funds, we're pulling all of our state funds, we're pulling everything out of companies like BlackRock.
How do you explain to people that successful capitalists like these are trying to destroy capitalism?
Okay, try
Why?
this on. Try. I have two explanations for this that I'm not sure what is the most effective yet, because I have a hard time explaining that without getting all into the nuts and bolts of it. Okay, so here are the two explanations. One, what are the companies that are losing faith, or what are the categories that people just don't trust anymore? Big business, media, government, banks, right?
Yep.
Those are the big ones. Now, and big tech. So big tech is the last one to have the pitchforks and torches come. Okay, that pitchfork and torch is coming when AI starts destroying jobs. That will happen by 2030. All of big tech knows this. 40% of all jobs will be gone by 2030. Okay, and you won't be able to retrain a lot of people for different jobs. It's going to be a constant churn by 2030. So they know when AI starts taking jobs, they're in trouble. But they're the last on the food chain. Who knows they're in trouble? Have you noticed CNN, how they are just rallying around this anti-Joe Rogan thing?
Yeah.
That's because, notice the New York Times also declared a war on all podcasters. Okay? So there's a war against people like us. That's coming from the media. That's because we have millions of listeners. Anderson Cooper has about 500,000 now. Okay? We have millions, 500,000. Joe Rogan is estimated to have anywhere
11
between
million a day.
Yeah, 11 million a day. Okay?
It's amazing.
Again, CNN, highest rated program, 500,000. They're done. They know it. Who's going to protect journalism? And the first to be eaten are the politicians. Okay? The politicians need help. The banks need bailouts. The big businesses, they've known since the Tides Foundation in 1988. We've got to take over big business, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what's happening. Government, those people are freaking out. We're going to lose our power. Okay. We need help. So they've gone to big tech first. Well, actually, media first, but media is so ineffective now. So they went to media. Let's partner. Let's private-public partner. Okay. Now, big tech. Let's public-private partner. So we're telling you, you've got to stop this onslaught. They're in on it together. Of course they need to stop Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan can expose all of this and turn the tides on their plan. The businesses are getting rich because the Federal Reserve, which is the bank, remember, the Federal Reserve is only the biggest banks in the country. The biggest banks are in trouble, says the Federal Reserve. So we need to bail them out. So they take money, they print, and instead of putting it in the Fed pocket, they just put it into their bank pocket. Okay? What are the banks doing with it? How did the stock market go up when everything was closed? How was the stock market booming? Because the Federal Reserve is getting it to the banks. The banks are taking that money and they're investing in companies like BlackRock, hedge funds. BlackRock is then going to the companies and saying, we have an ESG score. You need to do this or you're not going to play the game and be in with us or you're going to be out. Remember what George Soros told me? The ship is about to sail and you are either on it or you're not. All of them are choosing to be on it because they'll get rich. All of the elites, this is bringing us back to the days of lords and ladies and serfs.
I looked up the company that I have a lot of banking with, and ta-da! On their website is their environmental, social.
You'll have it everywhere.
Governance. So that's my question: is there somewhere
They don't hide it. I mean, it's not even hidden.
But is there a list somewhere of like all the companies, or is it just safe to assume
you just assume it's all there because they all know, and this has been put in for a long time. This is the reason the Paris Accords happened. Remember how they all freaked out about the stupid Paris Accords? And we were like, what the hell is this Paris Accord? Because the Paris Accords were not about global warming. The 5 days in Paris before were the biggest banks in the world where they all signed a treaty to do this. Jeez. Global warming was the vehicle to bring it in, but COVID actually helped them go turbo. So the question is, now they are becoming desperate.
That's why they had to get Trump out.
Right, exactly right. That's why. Did you notice all of the businesses that came out and they were proud to say, yeah, we had a phone call. We had to make sure that Trump was out and we did everything we could. Remember that? They were proud of it. That's ESG. They knew that Trump was America first. You cannot be America first in this. You can't.
Trump was literally the finger in the dike for so much. And obviously
Trump, I'm not sure, understands what he exposed. And I don't
think so.
I don't think so either. And I don't think he understands.
I think he knows there's shenanigans going on.
Oh, no, he knows there is.
That. He doesn't know the specifics.
You know, I had dinner with him a month ago or something.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating. There were two things that I learned from him. One, he may not know what it is, but he knows how big it is. You know, he said, I knew I was going to have to fight, but I didn't know I'd have to fight for my life every day and do it alone.
I recall.
Jeez.
Yeah. And he was very clear on that. It was not a Trumpian, like, you know, it's the greatest, I was fighting by. It was sincere.
Yeah.
The second thing is that you have to know about Donald Trump, and I was shocked by this, honestly. And I believe it was sincere. He's a different man in person, one-on-one. And we were talking, and he was sitting there at dinner, and he just shook his head, and he said, look at this. Look at what the hell is happening to our country so fast. And he kind of got a little reflective, and he said, and I fixed it. You know, he's kind of like looking at me like, right?
Yeah.
He said, and I fixed it. We were on the right track. We were moving
we definitely
forward.
Were.
Yes.
Yeah, he did put us back on track.
Yeah. And he said, I never thought, I knew I was going to have to fight, but I never thought I'd have to fight for my life every day alone. Mm-hmm. Then he said, no, not alone. All of those Americans that voted for me, and this was really sincere, all of those Americans that voted for me, they didn't know they were going to have to put up with what they had to put up with either.
That's for sure.
And I promised them that I would fix it. Now, how do I walk away from them? How do I not go back in and try to fix this and finish the job for the people that trusted me to fix it?
That
and I
gives me
didn't.
Chills. That's so fantastic. That is my impression of Donald Trump.
It is.
He is such a patriotic, America
and
guy.
Loyal.
Yep.
Loyal. The thing I really got from him, because I went in, thinking Donald Trump absolutely going to run again because he's not going to leave, with a feeling that he lost.
That he lost. Yeah.
Okay?
His legacy.
But
that's not it.
That's not it. And that's what everybody misses about Donald Trump.
That's really great.
It's something that has haunted me, and it's now coming back to the surface now, listening to you talk about Trump. Remember, I think it was summer of 2020, and he was on with Rush Limbaugh, and he just talked and talked and talked. Rush blew out national commercial breaks just to keep the conversation going. And I recall something that Donald Trump said during that interview where he said, if I'm not reelected, and he didn't say it exactly like this, but he said, Rush, there is so much corruption that we are this close to exposing. And if I'm not reelected, they will get away with this forever.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what
I think
it feels
Ron DeSantis, I think if Donald Trump, what I'd really like to see, because I said to him, you can't do all this in 4 years. Right. I said, so if you brought in somebody like DeSantis and he was your vice president, you might be able to have 12 years. Yeah. And it's going to take 12 years if everybody understands what they're fighting. This thing is to the core rotten.
What did he say about that?
He said, I said to him was, I don't think you can do this in 4 years.
Yeah.
And he said, we have to do it. But I cannot do it with a GOP that is full of a bunch of Mitch McConnells.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He said
He
said we cannot do it and I said to him, are you making a list of naughty and nice of the people that have
he is.
Yeah, that have to be fired right now? I said, you have to almost shut down every federal agency. And he said, I can't do it without Congress and the Senate. I can't do it. It will take an act of Congress to fire these people. And he said, it has to all be cleaned out. And we talked about, I'm not for the Great Reset, but I am for, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? And that's really what we have to do. We must unplug this system and then plug it back in and restore it to factory settings. That's what happens when you hit the reset button. It doesn't reset to a new system. It goes back to the original programming. And that's what needs to happen. And that's not what that's what Joe Biden ran on. We're going to come back and, we're going to return to normalcy. This is more abnormal than the guy who was tweeting on the pod at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it's more abnormal than Barack Obama.
So did you see?
This guy's so much worse than Obama. I didn't think you could get worse.
Can I have another minute after we break?
You can.
And then I want to share with you what Department of Homeland Security said. Did you hear this?
I don't. Not sure.
It was a love missive directly to you and other podcasters.
Wow. All right. More with Glenn coming up in just a minute on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray returns on the Blaze Radio Network.
We're going to continue our discussion with Glenn here in just a second. First, let me tell you about Built Bars. If you get hungry during the course of the day, and who doesn't, and you want something sweet and delicious, something that's going to take care of those hunger pangs, Built Bars. It's the way to go. This is such a great company. Nick, the owner, is a great guy. He cares about things. He cares about people. But also, he's got a great product here that you're going to love.
Do you know why it's so great? Because I talked to him. My wife forced me to eat them.
Oh, they're great.
And because I was like, there's no way I'm eating this thing. And she forced me to eat them because she's been on them for years.
You're thinking it tastes like chalk.
Right. So I called them. I asked them to advertise on the Blaze. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the first companies. You ever known me to do that? Maybe once, twice. I called him and I talked to him and he said, our number one deal is, yes, we make food that is good for you and protein. He said, but our number one thing, excuse me,
bless you,
taste.
Yeah. And that means a lot to people because
he said if it doesn't
taste good, you're not going to eat it.
Right. He said if it doesn't taste good, we throw it out. Try again.
It's fantastic. 4 to 5 grams of sugar and carbs, but 18 grams of protein. And yes, it tastes delicious.
120 calories.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Go to Built.com. Use the promo code PAT15. You'll get 15% off your first order. Promo code PAT15 for 15% off at Built.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Okay, so there's something else you wanted to tell us about?
Department of Homeland Security. Now, I want you to remember that they have been talking about misinformation and disinformation, right? They've been talking about the purveyors of that. That's all that CNN has been talking about is, we got newsrooms. We got newsrooms all over the country. And these people just go on and they just spout things like we've never read anything. You know what I mean? And the president has been saying, you have got to get control. Big social media, you have a responsibility, okay? Now the Department of Homeland Security. Now this came out Monday or Tuesday. What's going on in the news? Joe Rogan and all of his disinformation, right?
Yep.
Okay. Summary of the terrorism threat to the U.S. Department, to the U.S. Homeland. This is a National Terrorism Advisory Bulletin that was just released. Remember when they came out after January 6th with the bulletin and said, people who believe the election was stolen are terrorists. Remember that? Okay. So this, they say, is just a continuation. Is it? Listen verbatim to this. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories, and other forms of dis, and malinformation introduced and or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. These threat actors, i.e. you, Pat, seek to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest. Got it? In the first paragraph, it repeats that twice. Then additional details. The primary terrorism-related threats to the United States continue to stem from lone offenders or small cells of individuals motivated by a range of foreign and or domestic grievances, often cultivated through the consumption of certain online content. Okay? Then, key factors for the current heightened threat environment. Number 1, the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. The World Economic Forum just did a 10-day, remember when Bill Gates had, Event 201? Where we're just going to see what we should do in case there's a coronavirus outbreak. And that involved all of the treasuries, all of the central banks, everybody else, big business, media, and they war-gamed it. Well, the World Economic Forum just finished another war game. And the war game was, let's say Russia starts to retaliate because of something. And they decide to hack into our financial systems, or they start to hack in and they do what they did last time with remember when the gas pipeline, and they started to say, you hold it hostage, we're not opening it unless you pay. Okay, what do we do? What should the world do? Because that could cause a catastrophic collapse of the financial system. And a collapse, to quote them, that would require the world to orderly get out of certain world currencies. Gee, I wonder what world currency that might be, okay? So they wargamed it. They said the number one threat, the number one problem would be those that would say things like, get your money out of the banks, get your money out of Wall Street, get your money into Bitcoin, get your money out of US dollars. Those would be the number one threat and would have to be silenced immediately. You tie that with this, you see what's happening to Joe Rogan. You see what the left has said about podcasts. You see what they're doing. Our time is limited, and I don't say that with hyperbole. I say that to say to you, get the Great Reset book. I hate to say, yes, I'm right now. I'm not making any money on it. I'm just trying to pay for all the research and everything else. Get the book. It is the Rosetta Stone. We do have it in audio and Kindle, but I'm telling you, buy the paper copy because information will just disappear. It will be gone, and our voices will not be in your life. You've got to do your own homework.
Pretty chilling.
It's
pretty
here,
sobering.
Pat. You and I prayed every day on our knees in my office in New York, every single day. Tell us, Lord, what do we need to say? Where do we need to go? What do we need to look for? We saw all of this. Watch last night's show. Watch last night's TV show and see the chalkboard I put out 4 or 5 years ago and look at it. I didn't come up with these things, but the Great Reset is exactly what we knew.
And do you cover a section on what we do about all this?
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
And one of them is we have to have an Article 5 convention. Have to.
Been pushing that for what, 10 years?
Yes.
But is Levin still behind that? He's still pushing for it, right?
Oh yeah. There is movement on that, but it is the only way to clean it out.
I've been hearing about it again lately for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
So there's hope that it can happen.
Yeah. It has to.
Great.
Because we are at the place where you've got to be on your local, not only school board, zoning committee. You've got to call the state. Texas is doing something, but they're only doing it on the E, not the S and the G. They're just protecting the oil companies. Same thing that happened with Oklahoma. Same thing that's happening in West Virginia. Excuse me, don't just go for the oil companies. How about you protect the rest of us too?
Yeah. All right. The book is The Great Reset by Glenn Beck, and it's a must-read. Absolute must-have, must-read. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
888-900-3393. Let me tell you about ScoreMaster. Imagine your credit score. Now imagine what your credit score would be like with 30 or even up to 61 points really quickly added to it. Not 10 or 15 points like others that do that weak commercial. I raised my credit score 5 points in less than a year. Yeah, that's not ScoreMaster. ScoreMaster users could add up to 61 points in 20 days or less, which is life-changing, and it's going to save you all kinds, thousands on any kind of loan you do. ScoreMaster was created by credit data scientists to put you in charge of your finances, and that's where you want to be. It's really simple. It's easy to use. It doesn't take any time, like 1 minute to sign up, get started, and you can try ScoreMaster for free, see how many points you can add to your score. Go to scoremaster.com/Pat. That's scoremaster.com/Pat.
It's Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze.
All right.
By the way, we posted what he was talking about. He was reading from the Department of Homeland Security. So if you want to go to @PatUnleashed on Twitter and read that verbatim, what your U.S. government thinks is a threat today in America.
Really important stuff.
Oh.
This ESG score thing, we haven't talked about it on this show enough. Because, I mean, it's absolutely chilling. It's absolutely chilling. Speaking of Joe Rogan, I guess he just turned down Rumble.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he told an audience in Austin something. He was doing a question answer thing, and he was asked if he would accept the $100 million offer from Rumble to move his show from Spotify, and he said, "No, I'm gonna stick with Spotify." He said, "No, Spotify has hung in with me inexplicably. Let's see what happens." Is what he had to say about it. You know, has Spotify? I guess they have mostly.
There's 113 episodes that say he didn't get
that's true.
support.
Yes, right. Now, the N-word thing is much more difficult than the, expressing opinions about COVID thing. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And they didn't fire him despite the N-word hysteria. So I guess he's kind of got a point. They have mostly hung in there. But he is under fire like you can't believe. As Glenn was talking about, everybody's coming for Joe Rogan right now.
He's the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, he falls, everybody else falls.
Even Howard Stern getting in on it, telling him that he should apologize. Joe Rogan should apologize, which is fascinating because Howard, have you ever met you? Have you met you? Have you ever listened to what comes out of your mouth?
Wow.
Now, all of a sudden, Howard Stern is some wise old sage, the keeper of the responsibility flame, someone who stays in his lane at all times. And since when, this kind of fits in with what Glenn was talking about. Since when did Howard Stern become a mouthpiece for government propaganda? How did that happen? That's fascinating, really. That's really interesting.
The world is inverted, man.
Sure is. Sure is. They got an ally in Stern, I guess, and so he could attack his own. People who do what he does, and that's amazing. It's really amazing, because this is going to happen more and more. They're going to pit us against each other. The government is coming for us. These little activist groups are coming for us, and they're not going to stop until they get that job done. So we got to support the people who are under fire right now, and right now that's Joe Rogan. And fortunately, he has 11 million listeners a day that are going to be tough to deal with. 11 million is quite a nice little support group to have supporting you when you need it. And hopefully they will.
And if you fear that he could lose some of his audience for the latest goings-on, then go download an extra podcast of his to kind of make up for somebody that may be dropping off. Because if Spotify sees his audience cut in half, for example, then their choice will be easy. They can distance themselves. Go ahead and pad the numbers. Do it.
Yep. Chris Cuomo wants as much as $60 million from CNN amid the Jeff Zucker exit. Seems like Zucker was pretty well loved by those employees at CNN. They're all pissed off that he got fired or was pushed out or whatever happened there. But he's not backing down in his battle with them. Following his dismissal, he intends to demand as much as $60 million in settlement money. Multiple sources say that Cuomo, who was fired in December for helping his brother, Andrew, fend off sexual harassment allegations, is ready to dig in his heels by claiming that Zucker not only knew about his dealings with the governor, but that the network boss had his own inappropriate dealings with Andrew. Yes, the plot thickens just a bit. And he's prepared to demand not the $18 million left on his contract, but as much as $60 million. Nice. What he believes happened is Warner Media found something in their investigation information, Chris, perhaps internal memos or documents which revealed more about Zucker's involvement with Andrew Cuomo. And so they just used this convenient excuse that they had some issues with Chris to get rid of him. Chris intends to fight for every dollar on his contract and loss of income from the 15 to 20 years left in his career. had Zucker not orchestrated.
Oh, wait. Chris Cuomo wants to be paid for all those awesome years that we were going to get from him before this?
Yes.
And now they've tarnished his otherwise unsullied reputation?
Exactly. His sparkling reputation. He could ask for as much as $60 million, but CNN isn't going to pay that. But there's an argument that he could ask for as much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Glenn's
All
right.
so-
I mean, CNN's done. Right? I mean, they are done. They
I think so.
ironically helped get rid of the one thing that was keeping them afloat, which was Donald Trump. I mean, that was they would walk in every morning, all right, let's talk about Trump. See, now they've got to,
now they have to find
scratch
something.
and claw, like, okay, what are we going to inflate today?
Yeah, which is why they still talk about Trump so much.
Yeah.
But it's like not as relevant as it was because he's not president. So, their listeners don't care that much now about what Trump is doing or saying because he's not in power. Oh, but he will be again. At least if you listen to what Glenn had to say a few minutes ago, it sounds like he's certainly going to run. So keep your fingers crossed. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot that can happen between now and the campaign in 2024. But seriously, it starts next year.
Yeah.
It starts at the end of this year, probably.
Yeah. Gotta start making money.
there's going to be, it's going to happen fast.
Yeah, we have said breaking news, this morning on Bob Saget. We do know his cause of death. I don't know if we want to get that out there real quick here before we run out of time this hour, but
Seems like you just did get that out there.
Well, he hit his head.
Yeah.
And then he
hit the back of his head.
Golly.
And they always tell you if you've got a concussion or a head injury, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. Apparently now we see why. He went to sleep and never woke up. Really sad.
That is
sad.
Horrible.
Yeah. He was a really nice guy. Were you in Houston when he came and did the show? No? Okay.
Never met him.
Really nice guy. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. All right, before we get into things, let me tell you about what is our most important issue. Most important issue. Is it life? I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is life. And the fact that 63 million babies have been aborted and wiped from the face of the earth since 1973. Abortion's the leading cause of death in the United States and throughout the world. That's incredible. Since Roe v. Wade, which may be overturned in the summer. I kind of doubt it, but who knows? But 1 in 4 pregnancies end in abortion, so it's time to do something. The Ministry of Preborn is partnering with us at The Blaze to rescue babies this year, and you can be a part of it. Preborn is the direct competition to the abortion industry and Planned Parenthood in particular, and the largest provider of free ultrasounds in the U.S. You might think, free ultrasounds? Okay, well, so when women are considering an abortion, Preborn provides them a free ultrasound so that they can see the baby, hear the heartbeat, understand that's human life. And 80% of the time, after they see that, after they have that experience, they choose life. I mean, that's worth $28, isn't it? $28. $144 if you can afford it. We'll buy 5 of those. Save 5 babies, potentially. To donate, dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby. Or you can go online at preborn.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Before Glenn joined us to talk about his book, The Great Reset, we were talking about Dr. Leana Wen. And
oh, she's a former Planned Parenthood director, by the way.
Oh, my
Ironically enough.
Is she really?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What a surprise!
Let me Uber fact check this, but I just know
gosh.
it just hit me.
So if that's the case, you talk about hypocrisy, my body, my choice nonsense, while she's pushing the stupid vaccine mandates.
Yeah.
Okay. Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
she
her.
was appointed head of Planned Parenthood.
Great.
Yeah, just a few years ago. Yeah.
Great. So we were hearing how great masks are and were, from her from March of last year, May, August. What does she have to say now or lately about the masks?
Do you agree with the move?
to get rid of the mask mandates?
I do. There was
Wait,
a time
what?
and place for pandemic restrictions, but when they were put in, it was always with the understanding that they would be removed as soon as we can.
Sure.
And in this case, circumstances have changed. Case counts are declining. Also, the science has changed. We know that vaccines protect very well against Omicron, which is the dominant variant. Everyone 5 and older have widespread access to vaccines. And we also know about one-way masking, the idea that even if other people around you are not wearing masks, if you wear a high-quality mask, that also protects you, the wearer, too. And so in this case, I'm not saying, I don't think anyone really is saying that no one should ever wear masks, but rather that the responsibility should shift from a government mandate imposed from the state or the local district or the school.
So who should
Rather,
decide?
it should shift to an individual responsibility by the family, who can still decide that their child can wear a mask if needed.
Oh, my God. That is amazing. That is amazing.
What do you attribute this changing science to, Pat?
Well, the science changed.
Did the science change?
Yeah.
Or did the calendar change and it's an election year and they see that people are sick and tired of this crap and they're ready to move on from it?
That's for sure. Jeez. Think about that statement, too. It's a strange one. The science has changed. Wait, can science change? If it's science, right? It doesn't change. Like physics, the physics of the planet don't change. Our perception of them can.
Right.
The way we look at them can.
Right. What we learn changes.
The things we learn about it changes. So what changed was your opinion on the mask, not the science on it.
Is that not fascinating? Well, so we think that as a far leftist talking on CNN and representing the moves of the Democratic Party in the realm of COVID, we feel that no longer should the government mandate that children wear masks, but actually we think parents should have that choice. We've been saying that for 2 years, woman.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is we were right the whole time.
Thank you.
You were wrong.
Thank you.
The whole time. That's what's changed.
Yeah. And by the way,
you understand you were wrong.
New York has gotten rid of mask mandates up there. Oh, except for kids in school have to continue to wear them.
Which is so asinine. It is the opposite of the way it should actually be.
Yeah, the least vulnerable among us should have to wear the masks all the time. I think there's I think that's a segment of the population that they need to continue to indoctrinate and show them that, look, you're not born free. We grant you freedoms as a government, and they're trying to instill that in this young population.
Only lions are born free. As free as the wind blows. As free as the grass grows. They're born, lions are born free to follow their hearts.
Are they?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. It's true. Should look into that maybe sometime.
Okay. Hey, look at that. When you go to a school and your name's Stacey Abrams.
Only the adult doesn't have to wear the mask. You stupid kids who probably won't have anything happen to you because of COVID. You need to wear them because of science.
I mean, the backpedaling right now by the Democratic left.
Really amazing.
Is just, and it's funny to see who's on the email chain and who's not. Like, obviously, Dr. Wen was on the chain when Walensky wasn't. Because Walensky was still saying, no, got to wear a mask. While Wen was out there going, no, the science has changed. See, I got the memo. I saw that email come in, lady.
Incredible.
On
the same team, too. They're on the same team. Get your stinking story right before you go on every major network broadcast. They don't care, though, because they have no shame. They're not embarrassed by this stuff. They just say it and bald-faced lie to your and it doesn't matter because they're not going to be held accountable.
Yeah. The Democrat left will spend the next 9 months trying to convince you that they fixed COVID, that all of these draconian measures were for your own good. In the long run, we were able to get back to some freedom because their plan worked.
Yeah, right.
Don't fall for this madness.
Fortunately, our audience isn't going to. They know.
They know.
They're hip to what's going on. Some other things in the world that are brewing is Ukraine, of course, Taiwan. Now, we probably have until the 17th, or there's the 20th. When did the Olympics end?
Well, see, I was thinking it was going to be after the Paralympic athletes leave.
Oh,
okay?
right.
So we might get to like mid-March. I think it's mid-March.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Right.
Paralympics, Beijing. I'll get you. Hang on.
Mid-March.
Yeah, so we got a little bit.
Before they invade Taiwan.
March 13th. So the world will be relatively calm
for a while.
Until at least March 13th.
But listen to what Putin had to say about Ukraine and the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO, which I don't see that happening.
You're going to have to
That's not going to happen.
Okay, well, you're going to have to read these, the closed caption here.
Okay.
Because
he's
tell me
speaking Russian.
If there's a big threat here.
All right. I want to stress it one more time. I've been saying it, but I'd be very much want you to finally hear me and to deliver to the audience in print, TV, and online. Yeah, that's what I said. Hello. Do you understand it or not, that if Ukraine joins NATO and attempts to bring Crimea back by military means, the European countries will be automatically pulled into a war conflict with Russia? Of course, NATO and Russia potentials are incomparable.
I don't know what that is.
Their potentials? We understand it. But we also understand that Russia is one of the leading nuclear countries, and by some modern components, it even outperforms other countries. There will be no winners, and you'll be pulled into this conflict against your will. You won't even have time to blink your eye. I'm sorry. And then he talks about Macron being there, and we talked about it. I don't want it, which is why he's here torturing me for 6 straight hours.
Wow.
He's enjoyed his time, obviously.
Obviously,
with,
sitting in a room
Macron.
with Macron would be torture for 6 straight hours.
There's definitely a nuclear threat there.
Yeah, he makes a point to say that Russia is a leading nuclear state.
I have not heard that kind of rhetoric.
Thank you.
Maybe since Brezhnev.
I was going to say the Cold War.
Yeah.
For sure.
Since 1960, when he took off his shoe and pounded it on the table at the UN and really talked about eliminating the United States from the face of the earth.
We will bury you.
Wow. That's amazing. And he said it so nicely.
Oh, was that?
Didn't he?
That didn't seem. Yeah, I don't
You
know.
didn't think that was
I don't
nice?
think that was a good look on his face. But I mean, I just love this. I mean, Joe Biden's going to bring America back, right? And we're going to have great relations with everyone in the world. We have literally gone back to the Cold War era with Putin. And
Seriously.
what was Joe Biden was the first president, U.S. president to be, what was it, formally condemned by the British Parliament.
Yeah.
France pulled their ambassadors for the first time ever under Biden,
right?
Because they were upset about the deal we made.
Yeah,
with...
talking about pissing off your friends.
Look at how we treated our allies in Afghanistan. Wow. I mean, it goes on and on and on with this guy.
Really bad.
Internationally. Now, not to speak of domestically here.
When you put it that way, Keith, it sounds really bad. Are you just trying to drum up some things there and throw them out?
I'm just laying down facts. All I just said was things that are true about this guy and his international perception.
True.
And they laughed at him at the G8.
Yeah. Because he is a joke.
He's a joke.
He's a joke. It's not a funny joke because it's too serious.
And the repercussions from the Afghanistan thing are going to go on forever.
And it showed everybody on this planet what he's made of. And that he doesn't care about defending our allies. And that he doesn't care about defending our citizens. It's not good. Speaking of Putin and Macron having some time together, here's how they passed the time. They had a little bit of social distance between them as they discuss things.
Jeffy was sad he didn't get to that yesterday. So, but look how long that table is actually that long. That's how far
show
apart.
the actual table. Do you have the table?
Are they yelling at each other? No wonder it was torture.
Is that because of COVID? They're sitting
I have no idea.
30 feet from each other on this table.
That is 30. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Come on. That's asinine.
Okay, where are the translators?
Have they not been tested, either one of them? Come on now. You know neither one of them have COVID. There's no reason for them to be 30 feet apart.
And that's a good way to start a nuclear war. It's I thought he said they were about to invade. No, I said, don't make us invade. Yelling out the... what a world,
No,
man.
what I said was, do you have any spades?
Yeah.
I thought we were playing cards for a minute. And then, I guess I should have asked for clarification.
You should have asked. You should have run that one through the translator for sure.
Yeah. Does Putin not speak English? I don't know that I've ever heard him speak English.
I don't know. I know Stalin spoke English, and I know that FDR and Churchill didn't realize that he could overhear things at these. Yeah, so he played from a position of strength at Yalta and so on.
Smart.
So I don't know if maybe Putin's got the same game going on there. Does he speak French? I don't know.
Yeah. The U.S. is prepping to get Americans out of Ukraine just in case this thing does go south and Russia invades. But we got to hope it goes better than the way it went in Afghanistan. If you're going to do it, you should. Well, of course, they have said it'd be wise to get out right now. It'd be smart. And if I were in Ukraine on some job or, some long-term situation, I'd pack up my family and get out.
Yeah.
Just in case. It is prudent. So we'll see how that goes. Then we've got 5 for Fighting.
Yeah.
John Andrasik.
Yeah,
who started a podcast talking with American heroes. And now he's got another new song out. He did the one about Afghanistan, which was so good. So good. And now he's got, does he have another one? No, I'm thinking of, see, I keep doing this. With the 5 bands. It's
5 times August.
Times August.
That's funny.
That just did the new song, and it's Andrasik that had the Afghanistan song.
And actually, they're good friends, man.
Are they?
Yeah. And now, because of this, they've united
cool.
because of what's going on here, and there's so few musical artists that are outspoken. Unfortunately, they all have 5 in their name, and it's very confusing.
It is confusing.
And so,
because there's one other. What was the other 5?
5-finger death punch? No, I don't know.
Something. It's close.
I mean, that's
close,
right?
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah, it's tough. But you got to check this out. He's interviewing a guy who helped get good Afghans out of the country here at the 11th hour. And listen to this heartbreaking story from his podcast, man.
Suffice it to say, these two, one of the brothers was back home in the U.S., and so the one brother that was in Afghanistan is trying to evacuate the family members of both sides. Well, we got told by the State Department that only immediate family members could come out, and so this poor guy is sitting there after 3 or 4 attempts to get through a gate, and he's told by the officials that you got to pick which 4 you want to bring.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So, which is to say, you got to pick which 15 you're not going to bring.
And which 15
are going to stay behind.
And very possibly not survive, be
Correct.
killed. Yeah.
And so he picked his daughters and his wife, which obviously, what do you do?
Yeah.
We got them out with some significant trials and tribulations. And our mutual friend Mike in Florida can tell you a little bit about that.
Mike Waltz.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike Waltz. Yeah.
About 2 weeks after that evacuation, they found a safe house that those remaining 15 were hiding in. They killed one of the uncles in the street right there in front of the rest of the family, kidnapped 4, and those folks haven't been heard from since.
Oh, my gosh.
That's who we left behind. And that's what happened.
That's heartbreaking.
Yep.
Jeez.
By the way, you did mention 5 times August, and his new song was Anti-Fascist Blues.
Yeah.
That we played on this show. Pat Heads helped get that to #1 on Apple iTunes.
Oh, nice.
So
thank you.
He attributes
That's
this
great.
audience for doing that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Keeps. Keeps has you covered if you're starting to lose your hair and it's really disturbing to you. And of course, it is to most of us. I think when you start losing your hair, it's unsettling. I mean, you've had hair on the top of your head your whole life. And so when
you kind of grow attached to it.
Yeah.
Right?
And then when the hair on the top of your head starts to go away and your head starts to shine, it's just not, it doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I'm not into the shine.
Don't like it. So there's Keeps. Keeps treatment plans are delivered straight to your door. All you have to do is go online at keeps.com/Pat and just fill out some information that they need and take a few pictures of your head, show them what's going on. Then a licensed doctor will get back to you and recommend the right hair care products for what you're trying to do.
Simple process.
Simple, easy. Keith's been through the process. They're really great people and easy to work with, right?
Oh, yeah.
They also have a tracking tool that you can track your progress. And if you have any questions, something comes up that you don't understand or you want answered, you can get a hold of your Keeps doctor 24/7 and take care of that. Your plan comes with a full year of unlimited messaging, so you can connect with your doctor about anything, anytime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you want to have a conversation, hey, who's
about
going to win the
football.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, maybe you talk to your friends about that. But whether
they may engage. I don't know. They
might
make it back to you.
They might.
Go Bengals.
Whether you're looking for to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or just take better care of the hair you have, Keeps has you covered. Hair loss stops with Keeps. To get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/Pat. That's KEEPS.com/Pat.
Pat Gray is here.
I am. Thanks for being here with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Check out this tweet yesterday from NPR.
Oh.
This is really powerful stuff. Really powerful. Something you should think about today. Okay? Because a lot of us go online and we start throwing emojis around out there. Mm-hmm. Better think twice.
Yeah, you are like an emoji king. I know this to be.
Yeah.
True.
Really. They do call me the king of emojis.
Okay, so here's a little inside baseball. Mm-hmm. Pat and I text, constantly. I would say what?
Yeah, it's almost continual.
Yeah,
it's almost continual text conversation.
Sometimes it gets a little confusing because you don't use words. It's just a string of emojis, and I'm like,
right, yeah.
Why is there a clock in this text? Corby, look at this. What is he trying to say? So anyway, so you can relate to the NPR tweet. Hopefully we have that.
Some white people may choose emojis, the thumb up emoji.
Okay, but notice it's white.
It's the white one.
Okay.
Because it feels neutral, but some academics argue opting out of
a different white thumb up.
Different thumb up signals a lack of awareness about white privilege. Okay.
You following this so far?
Akin to society associating whiteness with being raceless.
You get that? So your tax dollars at work at NPR.
Can you believe this? It has gotten to this point where a freaking emoji means you're a racist.
So hang on. Let's noodle this out in their stupid world. So if we use the black skin flesh tone emoji,
aren't you culturally appropriating a black hand
color?
When you don't have one?
Right, but if you use the white one, then you're a racist.
Then you're a white supremacist, obviously, because for some reason you thought the white hand looked better than the black hand.
The world's insane. I would like to point out, though, that our late friend, Doc Thompson, when he texted, he did actually use the black thumbs up and use the black skin tone emojis. That was pretty funny. But that's cultural.
Cultural appropriation is not funny.
It's not funny.
That's what you meant to say.
I meant it's not funny.
Not funny.
I forgot what world I was in for a second.
Thank you.
The things that we choose as a society to make into an issue. I'm sorry.
The
things that some people in our society choose to make an issue is just madness.
Well, we've got to tell you about I don't know if we have time for this right now, but we got to tell you about this student in Illinois who had some racial things scratched into her door or written on her door.
Bad
One
stuff.
of the two.
Nasty stuff.
Just nasty, awful, hateful, discrimination,
and they found who's
racism
responsible for it.
And they found the person, and they're going to be brought to justice.
Good.
So we'll get into that coming up here in a minute.
I bet it's somebody that uses white emojis.
Probably. Yeah, probably. That should have been a clue. When they used the first white thumbs up emoji, they should have been arrested and put away before they were able to scare somebody with all kinds of racial epithets.
Yeah, could have nipped it in the bud,
if you will. And I think
I will. Oh, I will.
You will.
I will.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get into that coming up here in a minute. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's the same old story. Plus, we got to talk about the Canadian truckers, whether or not that's coming to the United States of America. I think it's going to.
Yeah?
I think it's going
You
to.
think March 1st? Because that was what they were throwing out there for a while.
Soon. I don't know if March 1st will be the day, but yeah, I think it's coming. It's coming soon. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
On the Blaze Radio Network.
Got some tweets here. Scott Sweatman tweets, actually, if CNN fired all their anchors, canceled all their shows, and just ran political attack ads from the Democratic Party 24/7, they'd keep their same audience, and they might actually make a profit. It's really true. Lone Wolf, so since the science changed from wear a mask to protect others to wear a mask to protect yourself. Yeah, the science, it did. It changed. Proud Mr. Graybeard, the science changed is a Democrat slogan used to avoid responsibility for very wrong choices. They will always not take responsibility. From Jimmy Dimples, the standard emoji yellow is indirectly racist. What's NPR going to do if someone from The Simpsons has to tweet something?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good question. All right. So Illinois law enforcement announced on Friday that Kalia Clark Mabins, a black female. Well, let me not start there. I don't want to start by blowing the whole scenario. There were notes. There were notes that were placed on her door in her dorm at Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville that said, "Die, bitch."
Oh, no.
And black people don't belong. That's not, first of all, it's of course not true. And it's just
like that.
Unpleasant and it's racist and it's awful.
You're making me angry just by saying that, you know?
Police received a report of a hate crime involving the posting of handwritten notes on the door of a room in Woodland Residence Hall, along with an alleged anonymous text message thread from the fall 2021 containing threatening and racially hostile content. The investigation included not just the campus police, but also the Madison County State's Attorney's Office and U.S. Secret Service.
Boy, it's getting serious up in here.
All up in here. Small told The Fix on Monday that the Secret Service conducted analysis on the handwriting of the notes. Okay, good. So they're going to find this racist a-hole. If it's the last thing they do, this whitey needs to go to jail. Am I right? Who's with me on that?
I'm with you.
Who's with me?
Wait, why'd you say whitey?
Well, because obviously it's some white supremacist here.
You're right.
Right?
You know what? I stand correct. You're right. You're right. It's obvious.
Obvious. A closed change.org petition. Why did they close it? Called for the expulsion of the initially suspected perpetrators. They should be more than expelled from school.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I mean, if they're white, we got to do something.
A black teen and her sister have had their lives threatened by some white teens on campus and have had no justice. Claimed a user of the change.org petition person by the name of Justice for Us.
Oh, I like it. It kind of rhymes.
Justice for us.
Kinda.
Black activists, of course, rallied for the expulsion of the alleged perpetrators when they thought white teens were to blame. What do you mean when they thought they were to blame?
Obvio. They are.
Wait, obviously white teens are to blame. Or, I don't know, maybe young adults. Doesn't have to be teens, but you know they're white.
They have to be white, though.
I don't know how old they are, but they're white. Except they're not.
Excuse me?
Yeah. That's where the opening paragraph comes in. Illinois law enforcement announced Friday that Kalia Clark Babins, a black female college student, will be charged with 3 counts of disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. Why? Because she did the notes herself.
Okay, maybe so.
As always.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe so.
Pat, hasn't she suffered enough?
She's suffered enough.
We don't
leave her alone.
I mean, she had to look at that door.
Yeah, that's true. That she wrote the note on, which said, "Die, bitch," and black people don't belong here. Does that mean she's a racist or what? I don't.
Again, let's just drop this one, okay?
Okay, yeah, let's just forget about it.
Suffered. Shh. Enough.
Shh. They say it's under investigation, but I feel like she shouldn't be on campus, period. Yeah, thank you. because you threatened to lynch students on this campus, according to the Black Student Union president.
Wait, that was a quote from when they still thought that people
That's
were white.
when they thought the people were white.
No,
Are they
they're not
saying that now?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
They're saying that now.
They're not. They are not saying that now. Now it's like, oh, okay, never mind.
I got to get to class. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not really into this anymore.
I hate these people. And then
It's
we're
over.
done.
We're done here.
It's over.
Everybody can go home.
In every case
Seriously.
if there's a case
we need to see this
where an actual racist did this, we'll talk about it. I've yet to see one in the last several years. And it would be everywhere.
Oh, boy.
Everywhere.
Oh.
Because white people are so racist that they'd have to prove it by showing you this instance of terrible racism, of threatening black people for no reason at all. Why don't you want them on campus? That is just heinous. And of course, it didn't happen. You know why? Because like 99.9% of white people don't feel that way. They don't want to do that. They don't act that way. They don't feel that way. They don't talk that way.
Sounds like white privilege talking over there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they'd say. And a school tells kids to stop sending Valentines featuring white or gender normative people.
Okay.
Private school in Providence, Rhode Island, has recommended that students avoid sending Valentine's Day cards that portray only white people. Okay? You got enough white things going on here.
Man.
Parents and students of Moses Brown Lower School received the following guidelines from Osvaldo Jose Marti, the head of the school.
Okay.
As we approach the month of February, we are writing to share some guidelines for the selection and exchange of Valentines in the lower school. If your child wishes to bring cards for classmates, please consider these recommendations, which we make in an effort to promote kindness and inclusivity within our community. If your child would like to bring cards for classmates, this is entirely optional.
Okay.
Please bring a card for every other child in the pod or in the grade.
No.
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 Mm-mm.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry, no.
I don't want Sneaky McJones in the back row to be my Valentine, so I'll pass.
It's asinine. Please coach your child if purchasing commercially produced cards to select something that does not feel gender normative.
Oh, come off it.
With separate boy cards versus girl cards, for instance. We don't need that, because I'm not sure why. How many non-gender normative kids do they have in the school?
Well, okay. Well, they're conditioning more and more every day, are they not? But I'm just trying to think of Valentine's Day cards. Like, aren't they just pretty vanilla anyway? Like, they don't say,
be mine.
I'm a guy, you're a girl. Let's be Valentines. I don't know
Right.
that I've ever seen that.
But if you bring the same card for everybody...
Oh, it sounds so unique and sincere.
Also, consider talking to your child about avoiding cards that portray only white human characters.
Okay.
Representation matters, and our students of color also deserve to see themselves in some of the cards they receive, unless we can find cards without people pictured at all. Okay.
Help.
And finally, Valentine's Day celebration at the lower school level should have a focus on friendship and fun. Please join us in trying to avoid the romantic crush themes that can dominate the day for older students. Yeah, that's just not natural and not normal.
Okay.
I
mean, that was your chance in school. That was your chance to tell your crush, wait a minute, I've got an in now, I'll give her a Valentine's Day card. Yeah. And inside the card, well, in Jeffy's day, he would probably put his address, probably put a key, all sorts of stuff in the envelope. But I mean, this is just let kids be kids.
It's my chance to tell Stephanie Cannon in second grade.
Stephanie Cannon?
Yeah.
How'd she take the card?
Or Carrie Moore in fifth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else on that list, playa?
Not that I can think of now.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
But those two stick out.
They stick out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
But I didn't give them gender normative cards, of course.
Yeah, so did you give the whole class a card or just...
Yes, every single person. Yeah. I did. Of course I did. I wanted to be inclusive, Keith.
Okay, but see...
So everybody got the same thing. Be my Valentine.
Okay, but
every one of them.
Here's how you play the system, and it's kind of sly. Okay?
14 boys and 16 girls all got the message.
Okay, you give the 14 boys and 15 girls the generic one. So it looks like everybody got the same one. But to Stephanie Moore?
Stephanie Cannon. Carrie Moore.
You give her, and it just nonchalant. Looks like you're giving out, yep, everybody gets one. But hers is really special. And it's like, hey, will you be my Valentine and so much more?
Yeah, okay.
Or whatever. Some personal message in there, a different card. Yeah. But it looks like it's the same.
Right.
So therefore, the teacher at this stupid school thinks that you're playing by the rules, but really, you're still using the day to your advantage.
I can't even imagine school being like it is now back then. It's so upside down and inside out. It's so asinine, so insane. You can't keep track. You can't keep track.
I mean,
if you brought, hey, I hope you switch genders in the next year, that would probably be awesome. To these teachers and administrators.
Happy Valentine's Day. I want to switch genders with me?
You know what? You'd make a really good boy.
That'd be
great. That'd be great.
You know, I always thought of you as a dude. Maybe you should make that.
Maybe you should transition. You ever thought of it?
Make it official. But I mean, is that hateful or is that inclusive?
Or is it inclusive
and accepting? Mm-hmm. This world sucks, is what we've concluded.
Crazy. It's madness. All right, let me tell you about Masterworks. Inflation is at a 40-year high. Investors are selling stocks like crazy, and volatility is up 50% over last month. Over the last month? Wow. You can thank Jerome Powell's interest rate hike announcement for that. And it could get worse. I've heard every meeting this year might include a rate hike. Goldman Sachs even predicts that 5 could come in the next year alone. And that's being backed up right now by others. Now, let me ask you this. Is your portfolio ready for what's happening or what's about to happen? If not, you may want to consider investing in an alternative asset like blue chip art. After all, art has a low correlation to the stock market. And blue chip art prices outpaced the S&P 500 by 164% the last 25 years. Diversifying with art isn't new. The ultra wealthy have done it for centuries. And with Masterworks, you can do it too. This alternative investment platform lets you buy shares representing an investment in multi-million-dollar paintings. Join the over 330,000 members and get priority access to Masterworks with this unique link. Go to masterworks.io/unleashed. masterworks.io/unleashed. See important disclosures at masterworks.io/disclaimer.
Beware, Pat Gray is unleashed.
Hey, Pat, I got some breaking news.
All right.
U.S. inflation climbed 7.5% in January, the highest annual increase in nearly 40 years.
Yay!
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
He agrees.
Right. Yeah, he does.
He agrees.
It just keeps getting better and better.
I love that clip because seriously, do you not know at this point or at that point, which was a month ago maybe? Did you not know at that point what it means? Nobody's explained it to you. Really? Come on.
What am I doing here?
I don't know that he knows what much of anything means.
Apparently not. By the way, the WHO claims 500,000 deaths have happened worldwide since Omicron. I'd take that with a grain of salt, personally, because I won't get fooled again by the WHO. See what I did there?
Okay, I do see what you did with.
See what I did?
But I don't understand why.
It's not that.
No, we know.
The WHO.
We got it. But
Yeah,
where's the
okay.
rim shot? I mean, I know it's in the machine.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a hotkey. Why
true.
isn't it ready? So tell us again.
I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because I won't get fooled again.
Oh,
by the Who.
look what he did! Did you catch it?
See what I did?
It's a band.
See what I did there? That's a band name.
Song.
And
Yes!
it's the World
I get it!
Health Organization. So stupid with everything going on in the world, and we're spending time doing this. But that's the beauty of the show, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, they lamented Tuesday that 500,000 COVID-19 deaths have been recorded since Omicron. Now, that's worldwide, of course. That's not in the U.S. And they call it beyond tragic. The WHO's incident manager, Abdi Mohammed, said that 130 million cases and 500,000 deaths had been recorded globally since Omicron was declared a variant of concern in late November. 130 million. That's why you're having so many deaths, because it's not as virulent, but it's just more, it's transmitted to more people, and so more people die. So it makes it sound like, and I think the WHO does this on purpose, they want it to sound like it's more deadly than even the Delta variant was.
It's fair to say that the WHO runs it through some distortion.
Yes. Yes, they do. And that might be Pete Townsend's fault. I don't know.
He's not a doctor.
He's not a doctor. And he doesn't even play one on TV. So
what's he doing?
What's he doing?
Out press releases. Wait, what's happening over
He's
here?
a guitarist, for the love of heaven. Okay, shut up about Omicron variant.
Nancy's
Nancy just
she is.
Do we have a shot of that?
She's struggling. Yeah,
she's struggling.
We're capturing
she
from
can't
both
hold up
angles.
the dartboard on her. That's
her laugh. Good job, Corby. Got her laugh. Anyway, so there you go.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And the lady that discovered Omicron, she said they really tried to silence her. Because remember the big push around Thanksgiving? There's a new variant. Everybody panic.
And from the beginning, she was saying, look, this one is much more mild.
Everybody just chillax, okay?
Yeah.
And she said they tried to shut her up.
Really?
The South African doctor. I'm glad she kept... Remember, and we had the clips. She kept speaking out.
She did.
Yep.
And eventually, they had to admit it. Because people started getting it, and it wasn't as bad.
Correct.
So they stopped. They finally admitted, it's probably more mild. But it's more transmissible.
And I appreciate her not only continuing to speak her mind 2 months ago, but still today saying, absolutely, this is why they came after me, blah, blah, blah. And I think people like her, like the Canadian truckers, I'm starting to get a little hope. I've said 2022 is a watershed year. I feel like a year from now, I don't want to say this, knock on wood. I like the trajectory right now.
Yeah.
Bill Maher all the time.
I do too, yeah.
Jake Tapper. I mean, people are speaking out.
Yeah, some.
I appreciate it.
Some who have seemingly or obviously been on the left have started to speak up.
The Democrats have changed their 2022 game plan because you and independents are sick of this, and they know this is a big, hi YouTube, joke. It's it's, they realize for what it is. It's a power grab. Okay, that's what this is.
Yeah, it's not a joke or a hoax.
No,
because it really is happening.
Yes,
obviously,
agreed.
But they've
the way it's being
exaggerated it to the point where it's like, come on.
When kids are in school wearing masks all day, that is a joke.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay? That is a power play on your kids, and it's
Asinine.
showing them who's in charge, and they will be controlled.
Just noticed Fox is doing a story on Jim McInville again, Mattress Mac in Houston.
He's got a
the
big
guy
bet.
he owns the big furniture store down in Houston.
Mattress Mac.
Mattress Mac. And he loves to bet on games, and he's got a $4.5 million bet on the Bengals this weekend to win the Super Bowl. $4.5 million. And now that would return, if the Bengals win, he wins $7.7 million.
So he gets his money back and then gets the 7.7?
Yes.
Right?
No, I think he gets his money back and then another 3.2 million.
Totally not worth it.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not a gambler. I don't know how it works.
I'm not either. I don't do that.
Quite honestly, but I'm just assuming he gets his initial back and then the 3 million plus in addition to that.
Important question just from Rob down the hall here. If Mattress Mac is in Houston, is he being impacted by a trash dump from SEIU this morning? Is that something going on right now, or is that in the past?
No, it's in the past.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's interesting that he thought it might be going on in the present.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why he thought that. No, that happened a long time ago.
Houston is it?
Like 2005, I think.
Dump.
So, yeah. Speaking of which,
what?
In
Traffic
Canada,
and stuff? Yeah.
The latest police tactic was to douse fires and steal the firewood from the truckers that are now just parked, right? They're kind of
and they're trying to stay
messing
warm.
up traffic in Quebec.
Yeah, and look, they're trying to stay warm. So the police came in there. They extinguished their fire. You can see it smoldering back there. And they just took all of their firewood.
Is that legal to do? Just come in and steal their firewood?
I'm telling you, every day, this is the Empire versus the Rebel Alliance.
Gosh, darn it. That's just something else.
It is grotesque.
Here's what the media is saying about the Canadian truckers. Here's the headline. How truck convoy supporters have weaponized freedom.
And this is the
weaponized
Globe and Mail.
freedom?
Yeah, so the word freedom is now a weapon, according to the Globe and Mail editorial board.
Freedom is a word that gets bandied about a lot these days, but has mostly been co-opted by the alt-right, both here and in the U.S.
Freedom's a bad word.
During the last federal election, People's Party of Canada leader Maxime Bernier, the far-right's current standard-bearer in this country, was greeted with the chants of freedom at his campaign stops.
Shame on him.
How dare they say that word?
Yeah, don't be doing that.
Freedom is an ideology. As an ideology has been appropriated by the Make America Great Again wing of the U.S. Republican Party. There's a strong MAGA fan base in this country.
Oh, no.
Apparently with prominent supporters such as Candice Bergen, the new interim leader of the Federal Conservative Party of Canada. I'm not sure I knew Candice was Canadian.
I didn't know she was in politics either.
MAGA hats and Trump signs have been ubiquitous at the Freedom Convoy occupation in Ottawa, which has attracted donations and political support from the U.S. One man rode a horse through the downtown streets carrying a flag. Get this.
What did it say?
Emblazoned with the word Trump.
Oh, no! The word Trump was on a flag.
I don't know why somebody didn't shoot him off the horse. Why?
Don't
Why didn't
give
they
him
just
any ideas.
flat out shoot him? Drop a nuke on his head. Something. He needs to be stopped. The word freedom could be found on most signs being touted by the protesters. No. For many, it's a word that's become code for the white identity politics and the far right's weapon of choice in the culture wars.
Freedom is our weapon of choice?
Yeah, and it's a white word, I guess.
It's a what?
Now, are you serious? What slop? I mean, you've got to be ashamed of yourself for writing this kind of garbage.
No, they're not.
But they're not. Yeah, you're right. They have no shame.
So freedom
They're not worried about it at all.
has been weaponized.
Oh, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Jeffy will join us, finish off the week, and our last more on trivia of the year.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.